Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from Kiss 106 and 103gbfrocks.com. Here alongside my tag team partner in podcasting, Grandmaster Sexay. Here is Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Just don't mention Brickhouse Brown or Rob will shut the whole thing down. Rob will shut this podcast off in a second.
That was a disconnect yesterday. And again, if any, I mean, unless people in the post show grew up watching, I didn't even check any of the post show yesterday. Was there a post show yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know. Here's what I'll say. We shut off just before I gave the big reveal as to Brickhouse Brown's contribution to WWE. And I'm not trying to downplay his career, AWA, blah, 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 blah. We just didn't know the guy. And here's why. He had 2 matches in the WWE. They were both squash matches. He was enhancement talent. He lost to Hunter Hearst Helmsley and one of the Godwins. So it's like, just shut up. Someone's always got to complain. Someone's always got to say something like, you forgot that birthday. Just shut up.
Well, I mean, again, we've got a half-hour podcast to do and 3 deaths to talk about. You do 10 minutes on Nikolai, you do 20 minutes on Grandmaster Sexay. I mean, would you rather us distribute that at somewhere different? Should we do 10, 10, 10? Let's spend 10 on Brickhouse Brown.
10 minutes of Brickhouse Brown would be amazing. That'd be the same as me talking about the periodic table for 10 minutes. I don't know anything about it.
If we had Brickhouse Brown, a conversation about him, screen time, 10 minutes, that's more screen time than he had in WWE and WCW history. I'm just saying. So, good morning, pal.
Good morning, pal. I'm here. I'm alive. I was attacked by the Harry Potter spider over the weekend, and
what happened to your ear?
I'm on a lot of medication right now. Well, I was at a golf tournament. I wasn't even golfing. I was emceeing the stupid thing, and I didn't even realize it at the time. I just felt like I remember there was itchy on my ear, and I go back in time, and I'm like, yeah, I was really itchy there for a minute. 2 hours after that itchy moment, my ear is burning. I can feel it, heat coming off of it. And I touch it, and there's orange crystals and stuff all over my hand.
Oh, man, pal.
Ooze coming out of the back of my ear. I go back to work, and the guy I work with takes a picture of it. He's like, man, your ear looks bad. And then I get home. My wife later sees the photo he took and wishes she'd taken one, because she said by the time I got home, my ear was actually twice the size of that picture that I put on Facebook. Looked like a Ronald McDonald shoe hanging on the side of my head. Turns out I was bitten by a brown recluse spider, and I was 3 times. And I don't know how I didn't notice it.
I thought those were deadly.
Yeah, dude, poisonous. They kept saying, like, I was at the doctor, and they were like, you should have gone to the ER. We can handle this. If this gets any worse, you're going to go to the emergency room. You've been severely poisoned. So I have to drop my pants, and for the second time in 2018, get a shot in my butt cheek for a separate issue.
Hey, by the way, I've got you beat 2014. I got 3.
I mean, there's still time. I don't know.
So you still got half the year to go.
Come on already. Holy smokes. 2 shots in the butt. I went 40 years before that without ever getting one. They give me a highball glass full of prescription strength Benadryl. They give me a prescription for an EpiPen because they're afraid at some point my tongue may just decide to swallow, double up in size, and I may stop breathing. I'm on Zyrtec. I'm on an antihistamine for 20 days. I'm on prednisone steroids for the next 10, and my ear just has been popping and opening and blistering, and all because some spider. Dude, oh my God. Wait, can you imagine this thing would have bit me in the face or something?
And out of all those things, it was your wife that kept you from watching Raw last night.
I know.
You got bit by the love bug.
Yeah, I did. 13 years. It's a 13th anniversary last night. They don't even recognize the 13th floor in hotels. It's such an unlucky number. And yet here we go.
I was so worried because I saw the picture of your ear And I was laying in bed that night, and the thought just dawned on me that what if that happened here in Evansville and you just didn't say anything? And you
just seen it.
Yeah, but I don't know how long those things take to get that bad. So I would
have missed it.
Yeah, I was dreading that happened maybe in my home or while you were here, or of course the amusement park we went to. Anything can happen there.
Anything, damn pal.
So let's get some Raw if you want to. We're all glad you didn't die, Valeria. If we had to cover a fourth death yesterday, I don't know what we would have done.
I did. I know. I've had only 3. I've been on WWE TV only 3 minutes less than Brickhouse Brown, by the way.
So
full disclosure, I did not see any Raw. You know this. I want everyone else to know this. It was our anniversary last night, and there was no way I was getting naked if I turned Raw on. So
you got some. Good work, Valerie.
And I didn't really read about it other than a couple notes. So I'm going in here pretty blind. So you lead the way, Bubba.
All right. Well, I took detailed notes to go through, and we can hit the bullet points. All in all, I would call it a fine show. Was productive. Like, it definitely got, like, you're more excited for SummerSlam coming out of the show than going into it. A lot of it, not a lot of wasted motion in the show. I'll be honest with you, I was getting a little dozy around that third hour, but it seemed like the only thing really of note from the third hour was the main event segment.
Well, going into Raw, I don't know what they were promoting, but I know going into SummerSlam for Raw, the only things I really care about, I care about the whole Lesnar thing. And so you've got Roman Reigns, Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Kevin Owens, Ronda Rousey to a degree, and Seth Rollins is really interesting. So, like, as long as they featured those parts, I feel like it would have been a good Raw.
Those were all featured. I'll just go through my notes, note by note. At the very beginning of the show, we got the answer to your question. It started with a graphic for Nikolai Volkov, and then it faded right into one for Brian Christopher. No Lawler.
Okay.
Just Brian
Christopher, no Lawler. And did they mention it when they came back, or did they just...
It wasn't a comeback. It was the start of the show, so it was ignorable.
Okay.
So, no, I don't believe there was any mention of either of them during the broadcast. And you'll be shocked to know that Brickhouse Brown did not get a graphic.
Boy, David's going to be ticked.
We're just busting your chops, David. And by the way, listen, if you did grow up watching him here, because I know he was around this territory, then God bless you. And I apologize. We don't have those same memories as you guys do. Roman Reigns says that he respects Lashley. Roman Reigns started the show, not Lesnar. Paul says that Roman is insane. And he gives that, I don't even think it's a real definition, but it's become like the working definition of what insanity is. You know, it's like doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Right.
I don't know why that's become, I feel like it's a working definition for insanity. I might be wrong.
I don't think it's the real definition. In fact, while you're talking, I'm going to look up the real definition of insanity and see if that's what comes up.
Well, yeah, do that because I'm going to need you to pay attention. So I'm curious as to what it is anyway. But I don't think it has anything to do with repeated actions expecting different results. But that's just been the pop culture working definition.
The true definition of insanity, as a noun, the state of being seriously mentally ill, madness, extreme foolishness, or irrationality.
Yeah, I mean, it's not far, it's plausible, but that's not what the definition of insanity
is. Silliness, craziness. It would be insanity to take this loan. Moving forward.
But basically, he says that Roman keeps doing that working definition of insanity. You keep fighting Brock Lesnar and you keep expecting different results. He said that Brock's going to go to UFC. He said UFC by name. He said he'll be a 2-sport champion at the same time.
So Heyman came out with Roman Reigns.
Heyman came out, but not Brock. Although we did see at the top of the show that Brock is there in the building. He's in his private dressing room. And then Roman puts the cherry on top of the interview. Do you want to guess how he did that?
Was it a bitch?
He said the
really?
Word, yeah. It wasn't a ... bitch. It was like at SummerSlam, I'm gonna make Brock my bitch kind of thing. I do think it was his last word.
But he said it.
But yes, he did say it.
By the way, 8-bit Stone Cold.
I was gonna say, by the way, no one put my shirt over yet.
I'm putting it over. Hey, that's the bottom line.
I love looking at this shirt.
Great shirt.
And by the way, soak it in because I don't think I'll be able to wear one tomorrow. I'm going to an appointment where I just don't want to wear a wrestling shirt tomorrow.
Well, that's an incredible shirt, bitch. Moving forward.
Thanks, pal. All right, so we get back. Brock was not watching Raw. He's reading a magazine in his locker room. The point of the show, this becomes kind of a show-long angle. They keep cutting back to Brock to kind of get what his reaction is. He's not interested in what's happening on Raw. He's more interested in his Outdoorsman magazine.
Man, people are starting to really hate his guts. They've done a good job of making people hate someone they didn't hate.
Wait till you hear my very last note, pal. Wait till you hear my very last note.
Damn, pal.
He even says to Paul, Paul wants to show him a video of what Roman just did in the ring, and what he just said to Paul. He wanted to show him a video of it on his phone. Brock takes the phone. Brock's like, it's locked, and Paul gives him his password, and Brock's like, oh, it's not working. And then just throws the phone. He's like, why would I care what just happened in that ring? The theme of Brock is that he's not interested. This is what I've been saying.
The WWE, he doesn't love the WWE universe. He's not giving back. He doesn't respect the business.
He doesn't care. And it's the gift. That's what I've been saying since, the real Royal Rumble, through the WrestleMania, through the Greatest Royal Rumble, when everyone started to sour on Brock, is when it clicked with me that, oh my God, this is what they're doing. It was when the post-show became vocal about hating Brock and wanting him to go. I was like, oh my God, it's working. These people who have been so sour on Roman Reigns now want him to beat Brock. They've got us there.
We just want anybody. I don't know. I'll be surprised if the people still want Roman Reigns to beat him, but I don't think they want Brock.
I'm talking about the people on our post show. I'm talking about people like you, Steve, Mike. Well, Steve hasn't been cold on Roman, but you would rather see Roman as Universal Champion than Brock, correct?
Hell yes.
Then there you go. That's why it's working. And I think this is brilliantly booked. So that's and that, what the definition of brilliant is. When you make people want to see Brock Lesnar get defeated by Roman Reigns, that's the definition of brilliant.
Yeah, it is. Let me look that up.
Corbin and Finn Balor had a long match.
Again?
Yeah, it was solid. Balor, wait a minute. I wrote Balor wins, but my memory's telling me that Corbin won. I may have made a mistake there.
I can't help you.
I'm not even positive it even matters, but I think Corbin won. And then let's see. Kurt told Paul Heyman that if Brock doesn't appear in front of the crowd tonight, you're going to be fired. You being Paul.
Oh boy!
So that becomes another part of this show-long angle. Paul,
he's going to show up. He's going to show up for sure because he doesn't want Heyman to get fired.
Well,
because Heyman's his advocate.
This becomes kind of a thing. So now Paul needs Brock to appear. Brock is not interested. Brock says, I get paid either way. In fact, he even said, you got my money, right? And Paul says, yeah, I got your money. And he says, well, my contract says I just have to be in the building. So here I am. And that's kind of been Brock's motif. And again, this is all between pages of Outdoorsman Weekly or whatever magazine he's reading.
God.
So there's that.
He should be looking at the Playboy that has his wife on the cover.
Wouldn't it be great if he's reading a Playboy from 1999?
Yes.
That would be so funny. Alexa chose Alicia Fox to battle Natty because Mickey got hurt. I think a working hurt. Alicia, super weird again. She fights Natty. Natty comes out with Ronda Rousey. They announced it.
Ronda's back.
Ronda's back. Her suspension is over. They announced it will be Bliss versus Rousey at SummerSlam. And then after the match, Rousey gets her hands on Bliss, kind of starts tossing Bliss around until Alicia Fox comes up from behind and starts tossing Ronda around. And next week, we get Ronda's very first match ever on WWE Raw when she faces off against Alicia Fox. I don't believe prior to last night it was confirmed that Rousey was taking on Bliss, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
At SummerSlam.
Just assumed. It was just assumed.
Paul Heyman was back in Brock Lesnar's locker room, and even I know this was a wink and a nod to something to wrestle with, because he started with, "Allow me this one volley," was literally the first words out of his mouth. there's
definitely for Bruce.
There's no way it wasn't for the Bruce Pritchard podcast.
Allow me this volley, sir.
Brock just kind of reinstating. I'm sorry, not reinstating. He's reiterating. He would rather be watching the show from the comfort of his own home, but is just being there because he's being paid. Again, no interest in going out. Just wants to read his magazine.
So they're really working it, and this is probably the most that Brock Lesnar has been on a Raw.
Yeah, well, not only that,
in a year.
So much so, and he's talking. He's like, Paul's working with him, but we're getting a lot of Brock's personality instead of just Paul doing it for him.
Which is good. You can see, you clearly can see he's got a ton of personality. Look at the Cormier thing at UFC.
Elias got a good bit of time. He comes out, he's playing his guitar. He says that last week he outsold Panic at the Disco, Post Malone, and Taylor Swift. He said he would have beaten Drake if it weren't for Bobby Lashley. I don't get the correlation there. I know Drake has a very successful album right now. I don't know how Bobby Lashley stopped him from outselling Drake, but he did. He called Pitbull garbage. They were in Miami. And he also said The Rock was a lowlife, also from Miami. He says Rock wants no parts of him and wrote a song about it. And while he's playing his anti-Rock song, Bobby Lashley comes out. I think that he got this was a poor decision because I think the crowd may have been expecting The Rock, who he was currently singing about. And when it was Lashley, it may have been a little disappointing. A
little disappointing?
He said that...
a little disappointing?
Well, I mean, they didn't say Rock would be there, but, I don't know. I was kind of being like, holy cow, are they going to bring out Rock? He's singing a song about The Rock.
Because if they bring out The Rock, everybody, through the roof. And then they bring out Bobby Lashley, and you now think that The Rock's coming out? That's a disappointment.
So Elias is being Elias, and he assumes Bobby Lashley's out there because he wants to sing with them. So they sing Rock and Robin a little bit. And it was funny because I think it was a shoot. Bobby Lashley forgot some lines, which, not too easy to forget those lines, but whatever. He was able to forget some of the lines. I don't know if it was a work or a shoot.
Bobby Lashley of him.
Because shortly after he forgot the lines, that's when Elias sprung for the attack. So he attacked Lashley, laid him out a little bit, but Lashley got the better of him, and Elias cowers away. Seems like that's where they're going for SummerSlam.
Much different than what we thought Bobby Lashley could have gotten. Bobby Lashley was just a week away from Brock Lesnar, and it was a very good possibility. And now he gets Elias.
Well, it's something.
It is something.
So then we're in the back. Kevin Owens comes up to Baron Corbin.
Here we go. Because I'm dying to know what Braun Strowman is going to do here about Brock and all of that.
They actually addressed that head on. So Kevin Owens told Corbin that his son looks up to him, and Kevin Owens says he's glad that he's got such a respectable role model to look up to. He says he wears like a vest around the house because of Baron Corbin. He says that it's not fair if Braun cashes in his Money in the Bank tonight because he's got a match for the Money in the Bank at SummerSlam. Corbin says, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. That's a Kurt Angle call. And I think they kind of implied that you're out of luck, pal.
You're out of luck, pal.
So Jinder got a count-out victory over Braun Strowman. That was about it.
How did that happen? Did Braun just beat him up outside the ring forever? And
Jared, I'm not gonna lie. I don't exactly remember the circumstances that led up to the count-out. It was not a long segment.
Did Owens get involved?
I don't
with
think
the Braun
so.
Strowman stuff?
If anyone watching,
because that would be brilliant. If they found a way to have Kevin Owens get involved and show Braun Strowman, you can lose. This is how you can lose. All you have to do is lose by count out, blah blah blah, and I'm Money in the Bank. So it would make sense for him to work with Braun Strowman and screw him out of matches and stuff. But
yeah,
but
maybe.
If he wasn't even involved, that's stupid.
Like I said, if anyone watching knows the answer to this, we can come back to it. Mojo was in I just have to call it the jobber locker room because he's with a bunch of jobbers. You're talking like
jobber headquarters.
Ascension, Zack Ryder. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, Owens grabbed the briefcase. Thanks, Mike.
Oh, okay, good.
So yeah, so Owens did get involved in that. That makes sense.
That makes so much sense.
Mojo cut a promo on the whole heel locker room talking about how they're just crappy. And and then he says Braun chases him all over the arena. So that's again efficient writing. Again, it's all little stuff in the right direction. The whole night, that's the theme of the show. So Mojo cuts a promo on the whole jobber locker room, and then Bobby Roode steps up to him and says, stop, you're not so tough. And Mojo had a great line. He says, Mojo goes, what are you going to do? Catchphrase me into submission? And then Roode didn't take too kindly to that, just laid him out. Just laid him out. After that, we got an exciting match of Akam versus Apollo. Akam versus Apollo.
Poor Authors of Pain.
He did have Razar with him. You want to guess who wins between Akam and Apollo?
Akam?
Apollo.
Oh, well, he needs a win, too. And they've been getting killed. But they've lost to, Authors of Pain. I didn't even feel like this is a feud anymore. Authors of Pain keeps squashing them.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with that. That definitely seemed like filler. Seth versus Drew. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre.
I bet that was fun.
It was short. That I was surprised at how quick it was. My favorite thing about the match was Dolph had straight hair. He didn't have curly hair. I can't recall a time I've ever seen him with hair like this, but he had it straightened, and it was much longer than I was used to. And he reminded me of like a 1997, like a early DX Triple H. If that makes any sense to people, maybe I'm reaching, but that was the vibe I got, especially from his hair.
Instead of a 1987 Mr. Perfect.
Correct. Yeah. Who did get a weird promo last night. It was for a Sonic commercial, and it was just a package of Mr. Perfect vignettes. It was so weird. Yeah, it was just like Mr. Perfect posthumously is endorsing Sonic. So, but it was all like 80s and 90s old footage of, him being the perfect athlete. And that was the Sonic commercial.
That seems a little out of place, but okay.
By the way, Rollins had the match won, and then Ziggler came in and interfered.
Okay.
The finish was very cool, by the way. You know how Drew has that really cool, he drapes his opponent over his shoulders, and then he kind of flops him over. Yeah. Well, Seth used his core strength and did a sit-up and turned it into a victory roll kind of finish. It was kind of a cool finish.
I love this whole thing, and it's going to lead hopefully to a really epic match at SummerSlam between Dolph and Seth Rollins.
Yeah, hopefully. Although I'm concerned, I think that it needs a stip, because we've had them wrestle without stips, and then we had a big stip at the last pay-per-view. I feel like without a stipulation at SummerSlam, it's going to come off dull no matter what. It's going to have.
They're going to need something, and they're going to need to find a way to neutralize Drew McIntyre, because he's been a factor in every match.
Let's hope it's not a shark cage, pal.
Let's hope not, or a cage. I don't even want a cage at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what I want, but we're going to need something.
Yeah.
Give me a Caribbean strap match.
Give me a Taipei death match.
Give me a Viagra on a pole match. So that was that segment. Let's see. If Brock doesn't go out, Heyman is fired. They reiterate that. Stephanie tells... Okay, so Kurt gets a phone call from Stephanie, and Stephanie tells Kurt that Roman has to leave or he loses his title match. So Kurt goes to tell Roman, hey, pal, you got to get out of here. And if you don't, you're going to lose your match. And while this is going on, Corbin is laughing at Roman. One punch. Roman puts out Corbin. And
good night.
Roman leaves. So that was that. Then there was the Mr. Perfect Sonic endorsement, followed by a B team in-ring interview that was really, really fun. They said that the B and B team stands for dream. And that's what they're doing. They didn't dare to dream. They were living their dream. And, that's what the B team is all about. The B stands for dream. It was just
stands for dream. We're the D team now. We're the D team.
It was good. Yeah, I mean, you had to see it to really appreciate it, I guess. Revival, I'm sorry, the Deleters of World interrupt that promo. Then the Revival interrupts the Deleter of Worlds. And then it turns into a match between the Revival and Deleter of Worlds with the B team on commentary, which, as you can imagine, was not bad.
And then the Deleters of World wins.
I don't remember what the finish was. I'm sorry.
Because I assume that they would win that. And if they didn't, then that's bad news for the Deleter of Worlds. It's pretty...
This is clearly when I started to doze, because I only have one more note and it's the last segment. So this was probably the end of the second hour. And I know Sasha and Bayley did something, but I was kind of out for this third hour. But
I don't need all the details. I'm going to go back and watch it. I just want to know the big stuff. I want to know the good, exciting stuff.
Oh, Mike's got our back today. Revival won. Thanks, Mike.
Oh, okay. Well, that's bad news for the Deleters of Worlds. Holy cow. What are they going to do with them?
Well,
they're just burying them up now.
I feel like they can go back to being who they were and be just fine. So then, like I said, there's a whole third hour where I only really got notes on the last segment.
Yeah, let's hear it. That's what I'm interested in.
Basically, third hour dragged. Kurt told Paul that Brock is a bad champion. And he used the kind of words that like everybody on the post show uses.
Sure.
He's not there. He doesn't care. Kurt says, part of being a champion is doing charitable work and helping communities. And you don't do that kind of stuff. But keep in mind, Brock's not watching. He's reading his magazine in the back. It must be a long magazine because he's been reading it for 3 hours.
Brock has a hard time with words. A lot of pictures, though.
So he says Brock's a bad champion. He's not... Okay, so Paul comes out, and since Brock did not come, Kurt says, your contract is terminated. And we don't really get resolution on that because Brock does make his way out after...
Oh, okay, here we go. Saving his advocate.
But I don't know. He did seem clearly fired, but then Brock came out, so I don't know if it's implied that he's not fired anymore or if they're going to go with that. So
now, what kind of reaction does Lesnar come out to? Is it hot?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's booze. It's exactly what...
But is it hot? But is it a hot booze? Like is he getting real heat or is it just like tepid heat?
Yeah, I mean, they're showing signs that say, thanks for coming to work today, Brock. It's all, yeah, it's the kind of heat they want on Brock.
Good.
It's the way that this is supposed to be booked. It's the definition of brilliance.
But is it loud? Is it like, are people like, is it the
roof
top of the night?
It's the roof's coming. I mean, the roof's not coming off the place, but Gorilla Monsoon would have told you it was.
Okay. Capacity crowd.
Yeah. The roof is literally coming off of the American Airlines Arena. Would be what Gorilla Monsoon had to say about this. So he gives Kurt an F5 and then Heyman's all excited. He's jumping around maybe because his job is saved, whatever. And then he chokes out Paul. He
chokes out Heyman,
and Heyman's begging with him to let him go. He says he can't breathe, and I mean, eventually he lets him go. But yeah, he puts Heyman on his ass, and as he's leaving with this ring of destruction, and Baron Corbin just bows out. Baron Corbin doesn't fight him. He just gracefully bows out, and literally, and this is my final note, which is what I was leading up to all night, which is exactly why everything has been done the way that it's been done. Because as the show is closing, the crowd is chanting, "We want Roman."
No way.
In Miami.
Where were they? Miami. We want Roman.
That's not Acapulco, pal. Or it's not Albuquerque, pal. Or Acapulco. No. This ain't Hershey, pal.
This ain't Tacoma. This is Miami. They want Roman.
Yeah. This ain't Evansville, pal. It's Miami chanting, "We want Roman." And that is why everything has happened this way. It's not because Brock is lazy or Brock's not coming to work or Brock's a bad champion. It's because this was the only way to get everyone to hate Brock. And
I agree
that's
with
been
most
the point.
of that, but they painted themselves into this corner and they found a way to make it brilliant.
But they've been trying for 3 years. They've been trying for 3 years to get the crowd to chant, "We want Roman."
Their contract with Brock is very limited, and they made the tastiest lemonade ever out of those contractual lemons.
If they want Brock Lesnar every Monday from WrestleMania to SummerSlam, they could make that happen.
Could they?
Yes. It might cost an arm and a leg, but they can make it happen. Let's just say the last pay-per-view to SummerSlam. If they wanted Brock every Monday, they could have had it. This is the exact story they want to tell. And your reaction to what I'm telling you shows me that it's really working.
It's always working. I want Lesnar to lose in the worst way, bitch.
And when in the last 3 years, since the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia, which was Royal Rumble, I think 2015, they've been wanting arenas to chant, "We want Roman." And last night, it was the point I almost thought it was piped in. They're chanting, I don't think so. I'm just freestyling with you. I haven't checked the news today, but it was so weird for me to hear that chant. I thought it could have been fake, but I'm willing to bet it was real. And it just shows you they needed this time. They needed this person. They needed this kind of heat. And it really, really worked because it got everybody to hate Brock.
Where is it? Okay, so SummerSlam's in New York. Do you think New York's going to be? I don't know. I hope New York's
This is the only way. I mean, I couldn't have thought of a smarter way to have done this, pal.
No, it's great, but I'm just waiting for New York to blow it for the WWE and boo Roman anyways, just because they're jerks.
Hey, whatever, man. That's their prerogative, but they got Miami to chant, "We want Roman," and that's how you do it. And that's why this has happened, and that's why, as a shoot, we shouldn't hate Brock. I'm just saying. And that's why I don't hate Brock.
They turned him on everybody, and they even turned him on Heyman, and that's brilliant.
Look, I'm not going to... Listen, if I thought the guy for real hated wrestling, was for real not being fair to the company, I'd be the first guy in line to say, let's get him out of here. He's a guy who worked himself into a great deal, who's honoring his deal, who's playing the game the way they want it to be played for the price that they agreed upon, and I am not going to get real heat with him for that. And that's my piece about this.
I'm giving him heat because I want to boo him.
And that's hard. Great. That's what they paid Brock all this money for. The money wasn't for Brock. The money was for getting Reigns to where they want to get him to. And that's the end of the story.
So now it's fait accompli. I mean, it's bound to happen. Roman's going to win the championship at SummerSlam.
And he's probably going to win it to a warm reaction in Brooklyn. That's why you paid Brock all the money. That's the story.
Goddamn, pal.
Right? Just tell me I'm right on this one, because I am.
I feel like you're right on this one. And that's the bottom line, because Rob's shirt said so.
Happy anniversary yesterday to Jerry Valeri. He's now 13 years and 1 day of not being divorced. Congratulations, pal.
Got shaky at times. It's like a wooden roller coaster marriage.
It's like a water ride at a amusement park that doesn't need to be named.
It's beautiful. It's traditional. But if you don't take care of it, or you let carnies get their hands on it, it could come off their tracks at any time.
And hot damn, pal, still giving it to his wife after 13 years and a day. Give the man a round of applause.
High hard one for 4 whole minutes.
There you go. Jerry Valeri. We'll be back tomorrow with a SmackDown recap. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Spoiler alert. I didn't actually have sex last night.